President Bush is in India right now, visiting the world's largest democracy, 1 billion people strong, a country emerging as an economic powerhouse. In our series, India Rising, Bill Weir is showing us how this faraway place can affect your job, your life, and your future. It really is extraordinary.
Well, Charlie, by now, a lot of people know that when you call that 1-800 number, when your computer crashes or your oven breaks, an Indian will probably answer the phone. But what may stun you is what that person thinks about you and how that relationship is changing lives at both ends of the phone call. I went to the other side of the world to meet those voices, to see whether outsourcing is really destroying American jobs. And I found that call centers are just the beginning. I rode out of Delhi through the choking, honking masses of auto rickshaws and sacred cows, past the shiny malls and shantytown slums, and in the middle of a dusty, booming office park, I found America's switchboard, back office to the world.
Would you like to make a check over the phone? I can post-date the check also.
For a starting salary of around $2 an hour, upwardly mobile Indians spend their nights answering questions from confused appliance owners in Kansas and Wisconsin.
What the Americans don't hear is the curses back. There's a common practice to put the phone on mute and curse people right back.
One Night at the Call Center is a runaway bestseller in India. In it, novelist Chetan Bhagat exposes the frustrations of this job, and his research revealed an interesting training method. At one call center, they teach new hires that 35 equals 10.
They say that a 35-year-old American's IQ is same as a 10-year-old Indian's IQ. So imagine you're talking to a child, and so don't lose your cool when you're talking to them. But this is exactly what was being taught.
Such revelations do little to ease outsourcing resentment, but this just might. A new study finds that India is not siphoning millions of American jobs after all. In fact, the U.S. tech sector has grown by 17% since the practice took off.
The numbers of jobs going to India for purely outsourcing reasons is quite small, and that the U.S. firms that are doing it are getting stronger, more competitive, more able to hire more people.
And experts believe that by dialing India, you're not only making American companies stronger, you're making the world safer. A few years ago, India and Pakistan were on the brink of nuclear war.
The Indian business community, particularly the high-tech community, came to the leaders in New Delhi and said, excuse us, could you please not use the N-word anymore, nuclear, okay? Because we're like running the back rooms of the world's biggest companies, from American Express to General Electric, and we can't take a week off for war. And the government in New Delhi got the message. That ceasefire not brought to you by General Powell. That ceasefire brought to you by General Electric.
It's not just corporate America tapping into India's cheap brain power, it's middle America. When Texas mom Elizabeth Mitchell saw her son Jason struggling with math, she hired a tutor in India.
I've wondered what kind of house she lives in. I wondered what her parents are like, but she seems really nice.
Well, Jason, we found her. 24-year-old Swati Chopra lives with her parents in this Delhi neighborhood. Here's the computer she uses to teach you in Plano. And you're right, she is nice. When it comes to teaching American kids, she says she has to be.
In India, you can school kids, but there you have to be very patient with them. You have to be very sweet with them. If you are not able to do this, let's try something else. Let's play a game, and maybe after that you feel like doing it.
You know, he's actually eager to sit down and get his homework done so that he can go off and play and do other things.
While math is now Jason's best subject, Swati has drawn a sobering conclusion from the rest of her students.
If you teach a student in India who's in the 7th grade, and you teach a student in US who's in 10th or 9th grade, their level will be same. There's a gap of at least 3 grades between the students.
If tutors like Swati can help close that gap, outsourcing our kids' educations may not be so radical. After all, some Americans are outsourcing themselves to India for surgery.
I got to the point to where I couldn't do things, functions with the family. The pain was too severe.
Insurance wouldn't cover Dennis Berry, and he couldn't afford an operation in his home state of Florida. So he flew to Delhi, where a world-class surgeon replaced both of his hips for $20,000, a savings of $100,000.
That includes my airlines, my friends' airlines. It includes the whole package. It's very impressive.
We've got to remember, we've been outsourcing goods or services for 70 years in America. And all that time, average American incomes have risen to now be the highest in the world. So if outsourcing's been a bad idea, for 70 years we've been doing it and doing pretty well.
And next year, when you call that 1-800 number, somebody in South Africa or Bulgaria will answer the phone as this trend moves its way to the lowest cost areas for English-speaking intelligent workers there. There are winners and losers with globalization. You know, manufacturing jobs when China took off. Plenty of people in the United States can tell you that, but this is the new reality, and there are ways to exploit it to our advantage.
We've all gotten used to those 1-800 calls and getting somebody on the other end. And I'm amazed that the hip replacement surgery could be done for 1/6 the cost over there.
In Bangalore, they're doing open heart surgeries on infants for less than $2,000 because the grand scale, the size of their base there is so big, they have to streamline the process.